Hi, did you know the Antarctic ice cap contains 70% of Earth's fresh water? According to the American Museum of Natural History, only a little over 3% of the world's water is fresh water. The rest, 96%, is salt or saline and is found in the ocean. What's up, Earth? If you want to know more about Earth, follow this podcast, What's Up, Earth. In this episode, we'll be talking about environmental issues. As we all know, Earth needs to breathe. We have 3 to 5 years left to change for a better future. If not, we'll suffer more from natural phenomena and with much more damage. My name is Chris. I am your host for this episode, and I am a student of Ramon Tevez Pastor Memorial Dumaguete Science High School from STEM 11 Pacific. I am with my fellow classmates to talk about global warming. Let me first introduce my fellow classmates as our special guests in this episode. I'll start off with the ladies. Miss Ala Isabel.
Hi!
Next is Miss Geraldine
Hello, guys.
and Miss Catrice.
Hello, everyone.
Now for our gentlemen, Mr. John Lester
Hey everyone.
and Mr. Simon Gabriel.
Hello Earth.
Now that we know our guests, let us first know what is global warming. Let me ask the atong gentlemen, do you know what is global warming?
Can I answer your question, Mr. Chris?
Go ahead.
Global warming is a gradual increase of the Earth's temperature generally due to the greenhouse effect caused by increased levels of pollutants. Daghan nato kay ma-interchange or misunderstood that global warming and climate change is the same. Global warming refers to the gradual increase of the Earth's average surface temperature, nya ang climate change kay on the other hand is the long-term effect changes in our climate. Basically, it is the effect of global warming.
Yes. Now that Mr. Simon clarified the misconception anong duha, let us talk about the causes of global warming and our suggestions to solve it. So now, kinsa may isog dira? Who will be the one to go first? It's your time to shine.
I guess it's my time to shine, guys. So, one of the numerous human activities that cause destruction rather than being progressive. We can say that everything in our surroundings is not what it used to be 5 to 10 years back, and therefore, the change seen and experienced by society is not always for the better. This environmental aftermaths not only affects us humans, but also the other living organisms living on this planet. When the environment is declining, not just one sector of our society will fall, but all of them one at a time. Everything we have today comes from nature, and if we don't restore balance and stop our harmful activities, it'll become next to impossible for any life to survive in this planet. Our surroundings are constantly changing, and as our surroundings changes, so does the need to become increasingly aware of the environmental issues that are causing these changes. So my suggestion is, there are multiple ways to prevent this. Solutions include wastewater treatment, which consists of removing pollutants from wastewater through physical, chemical, or biological processes. Green agriculture. It's essential to have climate-friendly crops and efficient irrigation since agriculture accounts for 70% of water resources. Stormwater management. To reduce runoff of rainwater or melted snow into streets, lawns and other sites, air pollution prevention, and plastic waste reduction. Overall, we have to be aware that water is scarce. It is critical to ensure that we have better access to clean water, and as for that to achieve, we have to act accordingly.
That is right, Mr. Simon. And it is true that agriculture plays a big role in global warming. And surprisingly enough, not enough people notice this because food and agriculture has one of the most carbon emissions every year on Earth. Producing food causes emissions of carbon dioxide, methane, and other greenhouse gases in various ways. Deforestation and clearing of land for agriculture and grazing, digestion by cows and sheep, and the production and use of fertilizers and manure for growing crops all cause emissions, as does the use of energy to run farm equipment like tractors, fishing boats, usually with fossil fuels. Emission also comes from packaging and distributing food. Now, as you can see, not enough people will see this because everybody thinks that planting will fix everything, but they also don't know that fertilizers can like reverse the effect. It can make things worse. So my suggestion to solve this is to make your own gardens and maybe not use fertilizers and just grow them on the ground without any supplements, and maybe eat less dairy. You can also go vegan. That is also great. And then you can also just stop using dairy because that is also bad. So yeah.
I agree with your point, Miss Alisa. The increase of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere can cause global warming indeed. And as I noticed today, this past few years, the temperature of the Earth seems to be rising and it's getting more hot compared back then. And because of this, there are a lot of unexpected phenomena that are happening. Or maybe it's expected already, but one of these are the wildfires on the Amazon rainforest and the melting of the icebergs on the Antarctic pole. And I say that this problem is serious because we only have one planet. If the iceberg will melt good, maybe some countries might disappear. That's just a theory though, but it might happen. So my solution for this is that we should avoid burning a lot of stuff, because burning a lot of stuff, more specifically plastics, can produce toxic waste gas and carbon dioxide that can damage the ozone layer. And also, we should also plant more trees and avoid illegal logging, because trees can help us very much. That's all.
I strongly agree with your idea, Mr. John Lester. And also, one main cause of global warming is the increase of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. These gases came from the burning of fossil fuels from different parts of the planet. And one contributor to these gases is the vehicles that burns fossil fuels. Well, posting and sharing on social media about this topic would help, but it's definitely not enough to stop global warming. What we need is for the people to do simple tasks like using bikes instead of vehicles that burns fossil fuels. We can also use electric vehicles too, or by doing the 3R guidelines, reduce, reuse, cycle. And through that simple actions, we can help our planet recover one step at a time. And by doing that, our environment will be healed and still carry on for the next generation.
I agree with you, Geraldine. Another main cause of global warming is cutting down trees. Cutting trees in the forest to create farms or pastures, as Alyssa said a while ago, or for other reasons, it causes emissions. Since trees, when they are cut, it releases the carbon they have been storing. Since trees absorb carbon dioxide in our society, cutting down trees or destroying the forest can also limit nature's ability to keep emissions out of the atmosphere. The obvious solution would be stopping people from illegal logging, plant more trees where you can, and raise awareness by either posting in our social media or just by in our community.
Those were great causes and solutions. Now, but those are really big ones, and we are just 5-6 people here. So to our listeners, what do you suggest we can do? Little things to do to combat this global crisis despite quarantine happening and COVID-19 still being a big issue.
COVID-19 is indeed a big issue. Due to this pandemic and the COVID-19, Earth is healing. Earth is maybe breathing a little and being a little more green than before, and this surface temperature is kind of increasing but also stabilizing itself. Do you agree with me, everyone, that COVID-19 is helping nature?
That is
Yeah,
true. I have
agree.
noticed. I have noticed.
I
yeah.
agree. I agree.
I've noticed a lot of my friends have started gardening. So yes, it has
yes.
been a good effect despite its very bad very bad outcomes that it dealt to the government and everything.
Being
Yeah.
plantito and plantitas has been a trend this past quarantine, this past year, and it is a good hobby to start during the quarantine, and maybe it's still going and continuing until now that the quarantine days are over and we have been a little over the pandemic.
Yeah. I do agree sa point na the pandemic did help Earth breathe because of the pandemic, a lot of industries like factories have stopped working, and the gases that they emit to the atmosphere has been lessened. So yeah, I agree na gamit yun ang the quarantine is useful. This pandemic is useful despite its terrible outcome or impacts sa natong mga tao.
Yes, I think the world stopped during the pandemic because the car stopped, the different companies that have or produce different gases in the air, like the factories, have also stopped running because of the COVID-19 spread among its workers and in the industry. So now that we know what is global warming, we tackled about different things to solve global warming. I would like to say thank you to my fellow classmates, to you all, my special guests for this episode from Ramon Teves Pastor Memorial Dumaguete Science High School in STEM 11 Pasfe. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you, Chris.
Bye. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for
Salamat.
having us.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
having
Again, thank you very much. And thank you very much sa atong listeners karon in this episode where we talked about global warming. Naabay na learn ang everyone and two? I'm sure everyone learned a lot in this episode. And I hope through this, we reached your heart and mind to change for a better and greener future. I am Chris of What's Up Earth saying, dare to be the force of nature. May the forest be with you.
May the force be with
Oh,
you.
First,
Thank you.